Hi guys. So a little proof of how, from a recording, of how narcs can avoid. They can be very convincing when they want to avoid any responsibility. Or I would say, in this case, I see what I think is that my mother is ashamed because of all the bullshit that she's been saying around. It hasn't stayed to where it's said, it has gone back to us. So we are learning. This is also why she's always asking me, when am I leaving? At this season every year she's asking me, when are you leaving? And this year we decide to stay. So she's like, why are you staying? She wants us off the grounds because she wants to be, it's a period where she can go and slander her family to everybody, and we cannot check, we cannot learn about it. So if I'm there, I learn it. Of course I learn it. Now that my father is back in contact with somebody who lives there, a friend of his who lives there, which happens to be a supermarket, a little mini market where my mother goes and shops. Well, he gets all the information. He gets actually whatever she says and whatever she do gets back to my father. Okay, so she's a bit worried about that. So anyway, my father hasn't been answering the phone for a while now, for over a week, because she's overdoing it. You know how they go on and on with the phone calls and always blaming others and criticizing everybody and all that. You at some point, you say enough of this negativity. So she calls me and she asks me after something happened. But I don't know. I don't know what's happened, okay? I'm only going to learn later. But this is her introduction. So the first thing I hear about this is about her conversation with my father. Is This is how I hear it. She starts a phone call. I didn't have the thing to record it straight, so I called her back and started recording again. No, actually, this one I didn't call back. So I missed a little of the beginning, but the beginning was like, have you had any news from your father lately? Yes, I spoke to him, I said 2 days ago. Oh, I, and you don't know why they ask the questions, you know? Do they want to make sure that whatever they're going to say will stand? I don't know. Oh, 2 days ago, because I talked to him last night. And at the beginning she says last night, okay, but it turns out that it's not night, because then she says 12 o'clock, and I'm like, my father at 12 o'clock? Why would he call her at 12 o'clock? It's a bit late. But this is how she wanted to make it sound, like, so that I get to the conclusion, okay, by 12 o'clock he was probably drunk a little too much, and he called her and he said all the bullshits he said, to be more convincing. So her story is more convincing. She doesn't say he phoned me yesterday at 12 o'clock. She says he phoned me last night. And then she started telling me, reading me the little papers. He calls me at 12 o'clock. I call him back at 12:30. Because she writes down. But she only writes down what she wants, her version of the phone calls. And
Mais qu'est-ce qu'il m'a pas tout raconté? Mais qu'est-ce qu'il m'a pas dit? Qu'est-ce que je m'ai fait, moi? Pourquoi me parle si méchant? Je sais pas.
oh, okay. Also, at the beginning, she said something. So when she asked me, when did you last spoke to him? He phoned me last night at 12:30. He phoned me last night. And he spoke to me so badly. He treated me so badly. I think he's going mad. She used the word mad.
Je sais pas. Je demande rien. Je sais pas ce qu'il a. Oui, il doit souffrir beaucoup parce que sa femme l'a envoyé péter dans les rouges. Oui, même à un moment donné, tu sais ce qu'il m'a dit? Comment est-ce que tu connais mon fils, toi? Je l'ai connu pendant 3 heures seulement. Et comment est-ce que tu peux dire que c'est un gentil garçon? Et blablabla. Mais j'ai dit, ça m'a suffi. En 3 heures, j'ai eu le temps de le juger. C'est un gentil garçon. Mon Dieu, il était devenu fou.
So the story about his son, she just, at one point he told me, how can you love my son? No, the conversation didn't start like this, of course. For sure, once more, she probably told him, because that's the issue. The latest issue is one of the latest issues, because there are many, is that she wants to give part of the land that she has on her name, to give it to my half brother, and whom she met for 3 hours only, and she fell in love with him, and she always speaking about him and what a good boy he is, and I like this boy and I'm gonna give him my 50%, kind of like this, and not to my daughters. So she wants to demean us, like your father's second wife's child is better than you guys, kind of. But she doesn't say that she said that at the beginning. She said, and he even shouted at me and told me, how can you love my son? And makes it sound like my father is jealous of her loving, liking, loving, whatever, his son. That's how she makes like this. Have I no right? Of course I judge him in 3 hours.
Mais fou, qu'est-ce que j'ai de mal que j'aime bien son fils? Oh, je te dis, papa, il va pas bien ton père. Oui, et tu as été dire à Yorgo. Yorgo, c'est le père de ce qui est un petit supermarché là, de Philippe, je sais pas trop comment il s'appelle. C'est un ami à lui, hein. Et oui, et tu dis à Yorgo, je dis, je sais pas, moi-même, je dis, j'ai plus vu Yorgo depuis 15 jours.
Okay, why she mentions this Euro guy, this is my father's friend. Last week, apparently, she went to the guy, she went to the grocery store, and she told them that I'm getting married. I know that for a fact because she said the same thing she phoned up my mother-in-law to tell her, I'm getting married, I'm having a white wedding, so I can give my part of my assets anyway. I can leave my assets straight to my husband, and my children won't get this way. My children won't get anything. Okay, so, but she's not talking about that. She's not mentioning that at all. And I learned later, because I asked my father, well, I actually wanted to give it back to him, what he's been doing to me all the time. Every time my mother called him and said, I had an argument with your daughter and she's awful and she's this and she's that, he would call me and say, hey, did you two have a fight again? Why did you have a fight again? And I'm like, we didn't argument, sorry. I have to stop saying fight. It's argument. Did you have an argument? I said, no, we didn't have an argument. I said, she phoned me. She started saying me all this stuff. I didn't argue with anybody. She was arguing on her own. And now I want to do the joke on him, and as I phoned him up and I said, what's happened? Are you two arguing it again? And he said, who? I said, you and mom. I'm kidding. I'm joking. And he said, no, we didn't argue. I just made a joke on her because I learned that she's going to have a white wedding. So in French we say white wedding. It's like, you do a wedding for the green card or something like that. They call it, it's like a fake wedding. I don't know if in English it's the same. But anyway, you know what I mean. A fake wedding, Anyway, and he said, I learned that you're getting married and you didn't invite me to your wedding. You didn't send me an invitation. How dare you, and all this. So he was kind of pulling her leg. But she didn't mention anything about that. And that's why I think suddenly she's trying to make my father seem like he's losing it because she's embarrassed. She's embarrassed that he learned her bullshit, Sorry.
Je sais pas ce qu'il lui a pris. Je sais pas du tout. Il dit, je vais lui téléphoner ce matin, mais pourquoi? J'étais choquée hier, j'étais choquée. Maintenant, j'ai déjà dormi 2 heures, maintenant. 1 heure. Non, 1 heure et demie. Je ne vais pas dormir cette nuit. Je dis, mais qu'est-ce que je lui ai fait, moi? Je n'ai jamais rien fait de mal. Quoi? Tu rigoles ou pas, moi? Tu lui téléphones pour lui dire de mal de nous, tu lui téléphones pour lui dire que tu vas... T'as été à Yorgo, oui, t'as été à Yorgo. À Yorgo, tu lui as dit que tu allais te marier, faire un mariage blanc, je sais pas tout quoi. T'as été dire que tes enfants veulent pas ramasser les olives. Tu dis des choses que c'est toi qui crées et après tu te demandes pourquoi les autres sont fâchés avec toi. Mais c'est vrai ça. C'est vrai, vous avez refusé de ramasser les olives.
So I'm not going to go through the olive thing. I'm going to skip that part again. Got enough of that story. But even though I warned her, don't go telling people that we don't want to pick the olives, just like without saying the beginning of the story, okay? Don't say half of the story. You tell them what you did to us last year, and then you tell them this year they didn't want to pick the olives. That's going to make sense, but not your way. No, she's still telling everybody, I had to find somebody to pick the olives because my children didn't want to do it.
Attends, ça, je t'ai expliqué combien de fois. Je sais combien de fois tu as expliqué, mais le problème c'est que tu veux croire que ce que tu crois. Comme maintenant, qu'est-ce que je fais, papa? Qu'est-ce que je fais? Tu le téléphones et tu le harcèles sans arrêt. Tu lui téléphones quoi? Tu lui téléphones et tu le harcèles sans arrêt en lui disant du mal de tes enfants. C'est normal qu'il veut plus entendre parler. C'est normal, non? Je sais pas si on doit t'entendre, je sais pas où toi. Mon oreille bouge. Soit.
Again, she's stressed about people listening. Yeah, always in every conversation. Don't shout so loud. I don't know where they can hear you.
Maman, oui. Tu fais des choses, tu dis des choses, hein? Tu énerves les autres et après quand ils s'énervent, tu dis mais qu'est-ce que j'ai fait de mal? Mais à lui, qu'est-ce que j'ai fait? Mais tu as fait beaucoup de mal.
But to him, what did I do? I'm telling her you're harming people. You're saying things, and then you wonder what did I do to them, but what did I do to him? It's like I don't care about the rest now. Nobody else interests me now. What did I do to your father? Why is he not loving me? Why is he not paying attention? Why is he not responding to the phone? Yeah. You can tell that they're focused on one thing. All the rest doesn't interest them.
Lui aussi. Oui. 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 Qu'est-ce qui m'a apporté? Qu'est-ce que j'ai fait? Mais tu as fait beaucoup de mal à lui aussi. Oui. 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 Qu'est-ce qui m'a apporté mes gros culs dans ma maison, dans mes jambes? C'est lui.
But I said, but you do a lot of harm to him too. Yes. She says yes. And she needs a little while to think. She said, who brought me big ass in my house? She's talking about his second wife. Okay? He didn't bring her in his house. But, they go back. This is the thing. Un musulman.
Quel rapport? Qu'est-ce que tu lui as fait toi avant qu'il parte? Quel rapport? Pour que papa te dise qu'est-ce que tu connais mon fils, t'as été lui dire nouveau des choses. Oh, avec tes grands airs, moi je l'adore ce garçon et tout ça. Tu l'as connu 3 heures, il faut pas rigoler, c'est pas quelque chose. Moi, je lui dis, je l'ai connu que 3 heures et je peux le juger. Comment est-ce personne peut juger quelqu'un en 3 heures?
So it's me, he said, who told him that I only met your son 3 hours and I like him. So this is the thing she knows, because we've had this conversation with her about how can you put somebody up there over your daughters, okay, without knowing him. not that the boy is a bad boy, he's a good boy, but the showing off, they bring you to a point where, like, how do you know my son? He could be a murderer, how the fuck, you're not gonna speak nice about my son, you don't know my son. So you get into ridiculous arguments like that with him, trying to prove what? At the end, you feel like you're trying to prove that he's a bad boy, but he's not a bad boy. But you're just trying to prove the other one, that my mother, in this case, that she can't be uplifting somebody like that and talking like it's the best boy in the world and all that when she doesn't know him. And she says, I thought, because she knows that it's annoying my father every time she does that. And she did it again to light him up.
D'abord, et puis, moi je l'ai jugé. Oui, bon, toi tu l'as jugé, mais en même temps tu dis du mal de tes enfants. Donc tu sais pas juger. Tu peux pas trouver ça normal. Mais c'est pas normal. Tu trouves que toi, tout ce que tu fais, c'est normal. Et puis après, tu t'étonnes des réactions des autres. Quand le téléphone il sonne et que c'est toi et que tu dis des méchancetés et tout ça, ne va pas dire après qu'est-ce que j'ai fait. Qu'est-ce que j'ai fait, moi? Qu'est-ce que je lui ai fait de mal? Ta réalité, elle est vraiment pas normale, je te dis. Je t'ai déjà dit plusieurs fois. Tu peux pas jouer l'innocente.
She's very calm with me now because I'm the only one.
Parler des olives, tu peux être sûr que je suis sûre d'une chose. C'est quand vous croyez que vous alliez avoir tout le bazar, vous autres.
She doesn't know what to talk anymore, so she's going back to because she cannot get angry with me. She cannot get angry with me because if I hang the phone up now and don't speak to her again, I will be one more on the list of people who don't want to speak at the moment to her. My father doesn't want to speak to her. My sister doesn't want to speak to her. My aunt doesn't want to speak to her. So now I'm the only one that she still can have conversation with and tell all that. But she's not leaving it there. She cannot be nice for very long. So she starts the olive subject again. She wants to get me angry, but she doesn't want to be the one to get angry and hang the phone or it's
Traité, chambouillé.
so anyway, we go through the olive thing again.
Ok, ça va. Okay. Elle est comme ça t'arrange toi. C'est toujours comme ça t'arrange toi. Ça va. Ça va. Et tu réagis, sors tes sentiments et c'est tout, rien de plus. Pas la logique. Tu n'utilises pas la logique, tu utilises les sentiments seulement. Enfin. Papa, il est pas fou. Si tu veux avoir, si ça c'est ton opinion, ben tu peux avoir ton opinion. Non, il est pas fou, il est très normal, papa, il est très logique. Oui. Pourquoi il en a toujours contre moi maintenant? Il en a pas tout. Je sais pas moi, qu'est-ce que tu les téléphones pour lui dire? Je vais pas téléphoner. Mais tu dis toujours j'ai pas téléphoné, j'ai pas parlé à l'un, j'ai pas parlé à l'autre. On dirait que tu oublies que tu le fais. Moi, je sais qu'il en peut plus, que tu lui téléphones tout le temps pour grogner sur nous, pour grogner sur ci, pour grogner sur l'un, sur l'autre et parler du mal de tes enfants. Tu téléphones tout le temps. Oui, maman, quand il était en Hollande, tu téléphonais tous les jours, hein? En Hollande? Oui. Non, mais ça va pas, toi? Moi, ça va pas. Moi, c'est pas moi qui le dis, c'est eux qui le disent là-bas, hein?
So the video is gonna stop. I've got a time limit. I will do another one.
Ça, je peux retrouver, chef. Oui. Oui, ça, je peux retrouver. Parce qu'en général, il faut grogner sur nous, pour grogner sur ci, pour grogner sur là.